Laser engraving slate materials can be a swift and efficient way to make money with your laser, and these are the settings that you're going to want to use. I'm running the Ortur Laser Master 2 Pro. This is a 10-watt diode laser, and I'm using the LightBurn software. Product links are going to be in the video description, and if you want to know the full cost breakdown of these coasters and the potential profit, make sure you stay around to the end of the video. So normally I would run a material test to figure out the speed and power settings for the laser, but because of my trial and error, I've already done that, so I'm not going to waste your time. Let's jump right into LightBurn and show you the settings that I'm going to be using. All right, so here we are, we're in LightBurn. Now, these are some of the best-selling coasters that I have in my area. I live in an area that has a very heavy law enforcement and military presence of folks that live out here, so these do really well. This is the template. We're going to be running these off 4 at a time. And as you can see, over here is the cut layers. So if I right click here, you can see that that first layer, that is just the template. That is the outline of where the coasters are going to be in the laser bed. And then this layer, this is our actual image layer. That's what's going to be engraving. And you can see the speed settings are at 3,000 millimeters per minute and 80% power. Now, one of the reasons that I like engraving slate so much is because it's actually pretty forgiving. Even if you don't engrave enough, if you have to go back over and do it again, as long as you haven't moved or changed any of the parameters or you haven't moved your object around, you can go right back over, do it again, and darken that image up. On the reverse of that, you could also go really high power setting, and you're not going to get the typical burnout or things like that that you usually get with other materials like wood and things of that sort. So that's one of the other reasons I really like slate. And not only that, it just looks cool. You'll see. Stick around. All right, so the coasters are ready to go. The laser's focused, and let me just go ahead and show you real quick how long this set of 4 coasters is going to take. Now, it might be a little difficult to see on your screen, but the estimated time for this is about 26 minutes, and that's going to give us a set of 4 coasters. Not bad, especially if you consider that you could be doing other things while your laser is going. Now there's only one thing left to do.
Fire the laser!
So check it out. Here it is. There is the coaster. It is done. Now, this is after 2 coats of lacquer. I usually do 2 coats of lacquer for all the coasters that I do. I didn't do any type of sanding or anything in between. Prior to spraying the lacquer, I made sure that I just wiped off the surface with I use a tack cloth. I have a dedicated tack cloth just for these. And I use that just to wipe off any of the excess and make sure that there is nothing left on here when I go to spray the lacquer. So first coat goes on. I don't sand in between. Once it's dry, I spray the second coat. And as you can see, got a nice, clean, protective surface. So that should help to protect the engraving and help them hold up to any abuse. So a couple of things to consider when engraving slate coasters. Obviously, if you have a laser engraver that is not as powerful as mine, you're going to need to make some adjustments, possibly to the power settings, likely to the speed. You're going to want to slow your laser down so that it's spending more time in the engravable surface, and you may need to consider increasing that power. We had ours set at 80%. You may need to go to 90, possibly 100%, just depending upon your laser. If you are using one that is more powerful, if you have a laser that is more powerful than the 10-watt diode that I'm using, obviously maybe scaling back on the power. You may need to scale back on the speed. It's something you want to just kind of play around with, adjust, and kind of go from there. But I think at 80% power and 3,000 millimeters per minute, I think it's a good starting point for anybody to be able to go and make adjustments for their own laser. So before I get into the profit breakdown of these coasters, I wanted to give you a couple of tips on how I sell them at the markets that I'm in. Now, again, I mentioned that anything patriotic tends to go really well where I live. I have in my community people that live here that are part of law enforcement, the military. It does really well. Now, the other tip that I recommend, do not mix and match your coasters. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that I did this. I allowed customers to come in and pick a set of 4 coasters, and that became the set that I sold them. I had nothing but problems with that. I would have tons of coasters left over of things that people didn't want, phrases that people didn't care about. It just was not interesting. It got so bad to the point where I had to take all of that remaining inventory and bundle them in a package of 4 and sell them at a discount because I just wanted to get rid of them. So I don't recommend selling them as a mix and match. If you're going to sell them in a bundle. bundle it up with 4, all the same one, sell it that way. It's going to help to maximize your profits. It's going to also help to reduce the amount of time you're spending on making all of your orders or making all of your coasters. And my third tip, put it in their hands. Get it into their hands. Let them hold it. Let them touch it. Let them feel it. Trust me, that helps tremendously. Looking at things, that's fantastic. But once it's actually into somebody's hands and they have to put it back or they have to give it back to you, human beings naturally have a sense of loss. We don't like to lose. We don't like to have something taken away from us. But also, a lot of us are very tactile, and with the rough edges, with the smoothness of this, people are going to want to touch it. They're going to want to like it, and they're going to start to imagine it sitting on their coffee room table. So highly recommend, put it in their hands, let them touch it, let them feel it, let them enjoy it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the cost and profit breakdown. Now, this is the link that I have in the description. You guys can go check it out. But as you can see, you can get a 60 count of these Slate coasters for $54.99. So these coasters are less than $1 a piece. One of the other things that's really cool about them that I like is that they also come with the rubber feet on the bottom, and they're pretty thick. They're pretty sturdy. So that's one of the other things that I like. I don't have to go and put that on separate. It's already there. Now, I said earlier that these are great things to practice with and to make mistakes on, because again, your cost on these, once you buy them, it's less than $1. Let's just go ahead and assume $1 per Slate coaster. Set of 4, we're up to $4. Now, the other thing that I include in the cost when I am figuring out my pricing is I also include the cost of clear coating. So for a small project like this, set of 4 coasters, I add like $5 onto my cost. So we're up to $9 now. I take a set of 4 coasters, and it doesn't matter whether they're squared or it doesn't matter if they're the round ones. Either one, I sell them at the same price. In my market, I sell them at $40 for the set of 4. With only $9 of expense, I'm making $31 off of every single set of coasters that I sell. That's not a bad deal. So for something that I could go and put it on the laser, set it, and work on something else here inside the shop while the laser's going, it's a win. All right, so there you have it. There's the breakdown. Now, let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts? Is the coaster market oversaturated? Is there still room for people to sell coasters? And what about the price? Do you think $40 for a set of Slate coasters is too much? Let me know in the comments. Give me your thoughts. Give me your feedback. Let me know your experiences. And by the way, if you're interested in more content, check out this video right here.